Hello, I'm Brian Schmafsky. I'm a professor of biology at Lone Star College, Kingwood in Houston. The way I use InSpark courseware is I teach primarily face-to-face courses. And I use OpenStax books now for the courses that I could use the books for, because I'm dealing with students of lower socioeconomic and lower income families. So we try to avoid the cost of the expensive books. The students found it to be entertaining, spectacular, and something they never expected, because a few of the students already took online materials with other classes, and they found it to be very repetitive, very much like the textbook, and it was just basically rote activities that they were going through. Because they were upset at first with the scientific method one, because they had to think, and they were finding out it's not so much getting the right answer as much as them working their way through it. And that's what's so neat. So this is a total paradigm shift for them. This was just so creative. It was, to be honest, unusual to use. Because at first I was like, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know if I want it. But then once I started getting into some of the demos and then eventually going through the module, I really liked it. It really was much more entertaining than the boring stuff. I had these two guys that always sat together, and I don't know if you're familiar with how many American movies, but I named these guys Bill and Ted. I mean, they were just like them, and they were just disinterested in class. I mean, they had to, I'd have to pull their headsets off their ears, and minimum class participation. Those two, it's funny, really liked the modules, mostly because they didn't find it boring. To them, it was like a video game that they're learning something. So it was funny. I mean, those two probably got more interest in science out of it than the people that were doing well, because they already had an interest. So they're kind of like, they're my litmus test. So I know the students liked it. And I know by looking at critical thinking activities and by case studies and also test questions that they were finding comparable or better than just using a textbook alone. And they really learned a lot. A lot of my students have never been outside of Texas and outside of their area. So this gave them some incredible global experiences that they were interacting with. And that was probably the strongest point they liked about it. Some said once they started, they could not put it down.